In this lesson, we're going to retopo the main part of our frame. Alright, so we've created the detail that we have on our frame, and we've got all of that finished. And now what we want to do is we want to finish out the rest of the main portion of that frame. So let's go ahead and go to, you can go to vertex mode or something like that. I think vertex mode is a little helpful whenever we're retopoing. But let's go ahead and go to polydraw and extend, turn that on, and let's hold shift and drag out this edge. We're going to go ahead and hold Control Alt Shift to move the vertices while still staying in that tool, and then I'm going to hold down Alt and just start dragging out these polygons. And then hold Control Alt Shift to just kind of help snap that vertex back to the edge here. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling out these points just like so. And then hold Alt, drag out. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and start thinking about how I'm going to get that to turn into the rest of that. And I think it would be best to do that here. So hold shift on this one, and we're separating out from that. So Control Alt Shift, move the vertices, shift to drag that out, Control Alt Shift to just kind of get those points evened out again. And we're just continuing that on all the way down to the end here. And then we'll stop at this point. I'm going to put this right here at the corner. And then we're going to start putting these vertices to where they kind of come into the handle there. Alright, very good. So now we've got that set. Hold shift, drag that down. Okay, pull these points out. And then we're going to go down into basically a triangle at this point. Because then we're going to start integrating the handle into all of that. Alright, so I'm going to leave that just the way it is right there. And then what we'll do is we're going to hold down Control and Shift, and we're going to left click and drag that entire edge. Now you'll notice that the vertices start to come out, and they're trying to adhere to that edge, but some of those points are really having a hard time. And I want to go to right about here where all of those points seem to hit that surface. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a little bit of geometry that I can actually capture that normal detail there. Okay, and so then we'll just come in and hold down Control Alt Shift, and I'll just start to redistribute these polygons here. Some of these, okay, as we start pulling these around, some of these points we're going to start losing some of that data, but as long as we're not too far out of that, I think we'll be okay. So I'm just making sure that I'm capturing that edge there. Let me pull that back down a little bit here. I basically just want to cut across that curve. Okay, so let's pull these points out. Looking good. And we'll just continue right down the side here. And there we go. Okay, so very good. Now that we have that, we could go ahead and hold down Control and Shift and then try that edge again, but you'll see that the vertices, they start to do something kind of weird, especially if they don't hit anything. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull those out, but instead what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to Edge mode. I'm going to double click on that edge, okay, and then we're going to align that in the Z direction, okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set its X value to 0, okay. So we have that set there. Now the problem that I have with that is, yes, we've got the polygons in place, but there are also these polygons here that we don't have anything. And I want to make sure that I capture that information on the inside of the frame there. And so the best way to do that would be to go ahead and inset those polygons. So let's go ahead and go to polygon mode, and let's try that again. Let's go to polygon mode here, and let's inset that. Now inset is going to create the polygon on the inside of this one, so we're going to have this weird edge right in here. And so instead, what I would like to do is go ahead and just start moving these points inside. Okay, so just to kind of show you what we're going to do, let's go to extend and let's go to vertex mode, and I'm going to just hold down Control Alt and Shift, and I'm just going to pull these points out to where they touch the edge, just like so. And then I'll worry about the curves here in just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to get that there, pull that one here, and then I'm going to leave this one right where it's at. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take this, and let's go ahead and split that right down the side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut, and I'm going to cut from this vertex down to here, right in the center of that. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. So I'm going to right click and cut from this vertex right to the center of that line. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to cut from here to here in the center of that line. And then we'll do that one more time. Right here to here. Now you might be asking me, what are you doing? Give me just a moment and I'll show you. So let's go ahead and go back to PolyDraw and extend, and let's take this vertex and let's put it right here in the center, and then we'll pull this one to here. So here you can see that we're getting that loop around, and then all we have to do is actually just remove that edge, and I just want to remove the edge, so just hit backspace. I want to leave that vertex alone. Okay, so notice that we've just created a loop there. All right, let's do the same thing here. PolyDraw, extend. Let's take that vertex up to the edge there. Pull this one around. Okay, just kind of redistribute that. And then we'll take that, that edge and just hit backspace. All right, now we'll go in and we'll extend. Now that we have those points where we want them to be, let's go ahead and just pull these points around. Try to get that to look best as possible. I'm actually going to take these points right here. I'm going to pull them down a little bit, like so, and then I'm actually going to pull these across here. So that way we get a little bit more of a curve right across that. All right, looking good. So now we've got that. We're going to need another curve across this. I'm fairly certain of it. Actually, I know so. So let's go ahead and select this edge, and we're going to hit ring. That's going to select all the way through, and let's connect that with a single segment. Okay. And then we'll go in, we'll extend that, hold Control, Alt, and Shift, and we're just going to pull those polygons out there. Try to get this to help create that curve that we need there across the top. All right, very good. Now, next thing, we want to make sure that we take care of that center line, so select that set of edges right there at the top there. Let's align that in the Z, and then we're going to set this to 0. And then let's do the same thing for this line. Align it in the Z, set it to 0. Okay. Perfect. All right, so now we have that little bit of a detail there. Looking good there. Happy with that. And let's go ahead and start working on this portion here, filling out the handle, and we'll get started on that in our next lesson.